Tennessee's greatest win against the 10 winningest coaches in Division One.
The 10 winningest coaches they beat.
They beat Tennessee's biggest win against those coaches. Winningest doesn't sound like a word. Never has, never will to me, but it is indeed a word. Caleb, give me a rundown of Tennessee's wins against D1 coaches that are the winningest coaches currently. And it's brought to you by Andy Mason, AndyMasonRealEstate.com. Save you thousands or tens of thousands. AndyMasonRealEstate.com has over 40 years of experience in the real estate biz in his office. Andy's phenomenal. Go to AndyMasonRealEstate.com. I'm about to make a move. And who do I call first? AndyMasonRealEstate.com. Call Andy Mason. He'll take care of you. All right. So the top 10 winningest coaches that Tennessee has beaten. Are these current coaches or all-time coaches?
All-time coaches. These are smoky hot takes coming at you.
All right, some smoky hot takes. I'm going to say that Tom Osborne is not on this list.
Nope, Tom Osborne's not on this list. And guess what? Neither is Bill Snyder.
Neither is Bill Snyder. Nice.
Even though Tennessee played both of them. So,
all right. So what do we got?
All right, so we got the first, and this is the only coach on here not at 200 wins yet, number 10, but he's going to get to 200 wins this year. And it would be a guy by the name of Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. Tennessee beat him in the Tax Slayer Bowl, Butch Jones' second year, 45-28. That's their only win, so it's obviously their best win against this coach, and that's really not that standout of a win.
Yeah, beating Iowa in anything is, I don't know. About as sexy as a Yugo back in the day. What else we got?
All right, so Vince Dooley. Tennessee beat Vince Dooley only twice in 1969 and 1972. The 69 game decided the SEC championship, though, so I think it's obvious that's the best win against Vince Dooley.
Okay, so now we got Vince Dooley number one. Who's next?
All right, so right after that,
is this
going back to Iowa.
Is this a countdown on your behalf, or is this just you're throwing them at me and I'm playing off of them?
Kind of a countdown. I'm throwing them at you too. So, some are obvious. Put it that way.
Live workshopping smoky hot takes. Here we go. All right, who else?
Okay, so right after that, we've got another Iowa situation. A guy named Hayden Fry coached at Iowa in the 80s and SMU in the 70s. Tennessee beat Iowa to open the 1987 season in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now, for those who don't know, that was a very significant game because that was the start of Doug Dickey scheduling these neutral site games across the country for national television exposure that really helped Tennessee recruit in the
90s. Hayden Fry, do you remember the show Coach?
I do not.
With Craig T. Nelson?
Nope.
Roughly based off of him.
Really?
Yes. You need to look that up. I'm gonna say we can do better than that. I believe you can do better than that. Here we go.
Oh, we can. We can do better than this one too, but it's still a good one. 1994 to close out the difficult 94 season. Frank Beamer. Tennessee beat Virginia Tech that year in the Gator Bowl. And for those who don't know, that game was in the swamp because they had to move it because of construction in Jacksonville.
Yeah, we got to do better than Beamer. Come on.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Here comes.
Point?
Wait. That's just the first half. The good stuff is coming, man.
I'm ready. Smoky Mountain Red says the historian in Caleb is coming out today in full force. He's even got bowl relocation sites in this segment. All right, go ahead. So, all
right. So, 1971 and 1972, Tennessee beat Joe Paterno when Penn State was number 5 and number 6, respectively. The better win was in 1971. That was in December of that year. Tennessee was number 12. Penn State was undefeated at number 5, and Tennessee ended up being Penn State's only loss that year.
I'm going to bet we do significantly better than that.
All right. We're still going.
There's a guy named after an animal that resided in Tuscaloosa, and another guy that had a sharp wit like a...
Wait, we're getting there.
Yeah, like a predatorial... I don't know. Like a crocodile, but not.
Another guy whose last name sounds very much like the nickname for Lucifer if you change one letter. We'll get to that one too. And he's also still coaching.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so another legendary coach, man by the name of Lou Holtz. Now, Tennessee won 6 straight against Lou Holtz in 99 to 2004, but as I'm sure Dave knows, that's not Tennessee's most legendary win over Lou Holtz.
Not Lou Holtz, because he berated me after an interview one time. So Lou
They
Holtz
beat Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
But it was the 1991 Miracle at South Bend. Come on, I'm not there. I'm not.
Okay, well, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. No, forget 99 to 2004. None of those matter. No.
Well, forget the rest of your list. I mean, that's the one. If it's Lou Holtz and it's the Miracle at South Bend, how are you going to top that, Caleb?
So wait, you're saying we can do better, we can do better, we can do better. Now you're like, how are you going to top that?
Yeah, I'm digging my heels in.
Okay, wait.
If some of those guys on those teams are watching and I don't dig my heels in, then I'm going to be in trouble with the Mike Stolls of the world.
All right, I'll top this. You know, there's this guy by the name of Steve Spurrier.
Yes.
That Tennessee beat in 1989, 1990, 1992, 1988, 2006, 2007, 2009, 2013, 2014. But I'm going not 1998, but 2001.
I would go 2001 too, because he hung it up after that.
Yes, Tennessee forced him to resign from Florida. And
that is a close second to the Holtz Miracle at South Bend.
Okay. Okay. Well, I still think I'm about to top the Holtz Miracle, but all right. There's one is not.
Oh wait, you got Bobby Bowden.
Yeah, I've got Bobby Bowden. 99 Florida State.
Well, that's a national championship. That's going to be tough to top. All right. Finish your list.
There's 2 more, and these are the 2 debatable ones. Okay. Actually, no, one's not debatable. One's not debatable at all. Spurrier was more debatable. Tennessee's beaten Nick Saban twice. Geez, I wonder which one was the most memorable win. I think it's very recent.
I think it'd be last year, yeah, for sure. All right, yeah. So we got a Saban one in there. What else we got?
Okay, now here's where the debate comes. Tennessee beat Bear Bryant quite a few times.
Yes.
Now Dave, who is biased to his era, and when he watched, might say, you probably remember 82 Alabama, right? Or were you a little too young?
No, I was 8.
Okay, I remember some things at 8. I was 8 when Memphis beat Tennessee. I remember it.
No, I don't remember. I remember the catch by Dwight Clark, but I don't remember. That was an 80, but I don't remember 82, the Tennessee Alabama.
Okay, well, that's what everybody would say for Tennessee beating Alabama for Tennessee's best win versus Bear Bryant.
Well, last year's win was bigger.
Yes, and that's not Tennessee's best win versus Bear Bryant.
Okay, well, any win over Bear Bryant is going to be topped by the win last year, because the duration is going to be roughly as long, and this was a bigger upset. And for a number of reasons, I don't see any of the Bear wins being bigger than last year.
No, I don't.
I'm not using recency bias. I hope you know that.
I'm with you on that. But here's the thing: none of the Bear wins. Tennessee's best win against Bear Bryant was not even when he was at Alabama. It was when he was at Kentucky. 1950. Kentucky still claims a national championship from that year, even though they lost to Tennessee. They went undefeated. They're going to play Tennessee in Knoxville. Tennessee is the better team. Kentucky's the better team, clearly the better team. And the day before the game, the worst blizzard in the history of the Appalachians hits. And Tennessee, knowing Kentucky was the better team, decides to not shovel the field for the game. There's 13 turnovers in the game combined. Tennessee wins 7-0. Tennessee goes on to win the national title. Biggest win by far ever against Bear Bryant.
Pretty big. All right, what else we got?
Those are the 10. But I got a couple other Bear Bryant ones that matter. The 67 Tennessee-Alabama game decided the SEC championship that year. That was Albert Dorsey, had a pick 6. So that one was a big one.
Here's where I am on this. I think that you have to pick the national championship game. That's beating Bobby Bowden. If you're just tuning in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done it at this point. But like button brings more people in. So it's the top 10 winningest coaches in college football history. Which Tennessee victory over one of those coaches the most significant? So to me, it's got to be the national championship, right? Bobby Bowden. I mean, that even though that game, Tennessee was significantly better in that game. And I never thought they were in any danger of losing that game before, during. I just didn't think that was going to happen. So that has to be number one. And then you have shifted the landscape a little bit by beating Steve Spurrier. And then you get the big win last year. So I think 2 is very debatable. If you want to go Spurrier 2001, it caused him to hang it up, and you had an opportunity to play for a national championship if you take care of your business in the SEC championship game, which they did not. Caleb, I'm having trouble after the Bobby Bowden one. Who would you have as 2?
In the moment, I would probably go 2001 Florida. Because I'm going to be honest, I would put 2001 and 98 Florida over last year's Alabama game. I think both were more significant. I think the game being moved to December because of the terrorist attacks, Tennessee being 18-point underdogs. I mean, that was the watershed moment of the Tennessee-Florida rivalry, was the 2001 game. And so I would go that. I would actually go 98 Florida, number 3. I know we're picking one per coach, and then I would pick 2022 Alabama for number behind them.
No, I don't have any sort of argument with that. But man, the more I think about it, the 98 win was so big because talking as part of our Celebrate 98 series, and we'll have Steve Johnson, who caught the interception to end the national championship game. But I look back at that, talking to those guys about that 98 season, and really they thought they had it won when they beat Florida in September. That even the national championship game was a bit of a letdown. So some of those players might actually have it number 1 over the national championship game. As bizarre as I know that sounds.
I was 10 years old. I was just getting into following football. My brother was a hardcore Tennessee fan, and I will never forget, like, the day of that game. My brother this is 25 years ago. My brother being like, Tennessee can just win the night. They should go undefeated the whole year. And then Tennessee beats Florida. And I will never forget, the first thing my brother says right after the game is, they should go undefeated now. And so it seems like you're right. The sentiment among Vol Nation was that because they finally got over the Florida hump, they shouldn't lose a game the rest of the year. It just because that was such an albatross around their neck the past few years. And so you might 98 or 01, either one, you could go either way. Florida was number 2 in both. So I don't know which Spurrier win was bigger. I just think in the moment, there was something special about that 01 game because nobody was giving Tennessee any respect in that game.
Okay, so I'm going to go, you have to go the national championship, but I am going to say second to that is a tie between 2001 Florida and Steve Spurrier, 98 Florida and Steve Spurrier, last year Alabama and Nick Saban, and I can't leave out Lou Holtz and the miracle at South Bend. I just cannot leave that out.
See, that didn't have any implications really, though. Notre Dame, neither team was playing for a national title. Like, that game was exciting for in the moment. But, I mean, implications long term. I mean, I got 1950 Kentucky over that.
Winning at South Bend in the way they won? How many?
1950 Kentucky, though, was like that game, Tennessee won a national championship off that win. National championships always win, don't they? I mean,
yes.
By the way, a couple other Hall of Fame coaches Tennessee beat who did not win 200 games that are Hall of Fame coaches. Bobby Dodd.
Losers.
Oh yeah, Bobby Dodd's a loser. They beat Bobby Dodd a few times when he was at Georgia Tech, most famously 1956. And they also beat arguably the best coach, Jimmy Johnson, in the 85 Sugar Bowl.
Yes. Jimmy Johnson may have gone on to do great things in the NFL.
Exactly. Oh, and that's true. Dabo Swinney this past year. Dabo Swinney will get to 200 wins and will be on this list soon enough. So, because they beat him in the Orange Bowl. But that's not that good of a win against Dabo. Clemson didn't care about that game. It wasn't that impressive. Sorry.
Travis says Miracle at South Bend was a much better game than 98 Florida. That is absolutely true. That 98 Florida game, if you actually go back and watch it, and I have, it's not the prettiest played game. Florida did as much to lose it as Tennessee did to win it. Please don't tell Fred White I said that.